Okay, grab your tea because this is explosive. So, guess who's suddenly hopping on a last-minute jet straight to the UK? None other than Prince Harry. And no, this isn't for a family reunion. This is full-blown damage control after Tyler Perry, yes, that Tyler Perry, just blew the lid off a secret that's got Meghan Markle in absolute silence mode and Harry spiraling. Let's rewind. Tyler Perry wasn't just a friend. He was the golden parachute. When Harry and Meghan's royal world was collapsing in flames, he came through like a guardian angel with a billion-dollar halo. Gave them his ultra-secure Beverly Hills mansion, privacy, bodyguards, everything that the royals wouldn't give them. Archie had a safe place to play, and Tyler even became Lilibet's godfather. That's not casual friendship. That's family. That's trust. And Meghan? Ooh, she milked it. Every Netflix shot, every public thank you, every podcast whisper was curated to crown Perry as their savior. The man who gave them peace and shelter when the palace turned its back. But plot twist, Tyler Perry has had enough. And he didn't just walk away, he came with receipts. Turns out their stay at Perry's luxury fortress wasn't just a calm post-police retreat. No, it was a full-blown strategy war room. Late-night PR sessions, rehearsed interviews, and get this, over 17 hours of recorded conversations. Let that sink in, 17 hours of tapes. Sources say Harry and Meghan were far from grateful guests. They were running a well-oiled narrative machine, shaping every single sigh, glance, and emotional pause for maximum media effect. And Tyler, he saw it all. The fights behind closed doors, the debates over how much to say, the cold conversations about who to throw under the bus for sympathy. And he recorded it. Now, here's where it gets dark. When Tyler Perry got slapped with a jaw-dropping $260 million, 0-cents lawsuit from actor Derek Dixon, everything changed. The man who once looked untouchable suddenly had crack. And in Hollywood, weakness spreads fast. Meghan's response? She went into instant delete mode. Photos of Perry? Gone from Instagram. Mentions of him as godfather? Erased. Public posts praising him? Archived into oblivion. Her team moved like it was a political crisis. Erase, erase, erase. But Tyler, he's no fool. He built his billion-dollar empire with contracts, lawyers, and oh yeah, airtight residency agreements. And guess what? Hidden in that paperwork Meghan and Harry signed was a clause giving him full legal rights to tell his side. And honey, he is telling it. The first leaked audio, just the appetizer. Meghan allegedly strategizing how to manipulate public sympathy, Harry whining about Netflix pressuring them, and insiders say that's just the beginning. Tyler reportedly has everything, annotated transcripts, video footage, all documenting just how calculated their Hollywood rebirth really was. And the fallout? It's happening in real time. Remember that giant Netflix deal, the reported $100 million 0-cents one? Yeah, executives are quietly revising that number down to a much more embarrassing $20 million, 0 cents. Even that is hanging by a thread. Viewership flopping, content underperforming. Netflix is pissed. And behind the scenes, Meghan and Harry are scrambling. They've fired staff, cut their PR team, even let go of the elite crisis managers that built their whole image. This isn't rebranding. This is survival mode. Their dream of being Hollywood royalty, shaking, crumbling, all while the same man who once gave them a castle-like escape might now bury their empire with a single leak. Because let's be real, Hollywood has no patience for a sinking brand, and that mansion in Montecito, it's become a golden prison. $14,650,000, 0 cents for the house, nearly $300, 0 cents K a year in property taxes, $2 million, 0 cents in security, staff costs, renovations. It's a bleeding wallet. Now imagine that burn rate with no fresh income. Spotify? Gone. Netflix? Teetering. Archwell, their production company, losing money fast. Execs are pulling out. Donors are ghosting. Donations to their foundation have dropped by 30%. And the grants they can spend? Down even more. In nonprofit language, that's not a red flag, that's a 5-alarm fire. Their team is shrinking, morale is tanking, and insiders say the vibe at the mansion is straight up paranoid. Whispered meetings, Zoom calls with panicked faces, job descriptions getting rewritten with NDAs thicker than an HBO script. And Meghan? She's still clinging to what's left. Her lifestyle show with Love, Meghan, was supposed to be her comeback. Soft focus, pretty kitchen, grace and poise. But early viewers, they weren't buying it. Critics called it flat, fake and disconnected, all Le Creuset and zero warmth. Even her podcast deal with Limonada Media, delayed. Official reason? Timing. Real reason? No one wants to release a project in the middle of a PR train wreck. And then the ultimate red flag, the one that makes every Hollywood player run for the hills. Producers and streaming partners are now pulling out, not because of budgets, because of toxicity. One Netflix partner reportedly killed a project just based on what Tyler Perry might release next. And when investors start saying, "I'm not touching anything with their name on it," that's the death knell. But maybe the saddest, most telling moment came during a podcast. Meghan was asked, "What would you change about how people see you?" And her answer, "I would ask people to tell the truth." No reflection, no humility, just the same blame the public mindset that turned her from a feminist icon into a meme. She still doesn't see it. She still thinks she's the one being wronged, and that, more than any lawsuit, more than any recording, is the real danger. Because once you lose the room, once you lose public trust, there's no coming back. Not when your whole empire was built on controlling the story. And now that story is no longer in your hands. And here's the twist that no one saw coming. Tyler Perry never wanted to destroy them. He didn't invite them in with hidden cameras and some revenge fantasy. No, he gave them everything: shelter, loyalty, trust. He stood by them when no one else would. But when Meghan and Harry turned on him like he was a disposable character in their royal drama, when they tried to erase him from their perfect narrative like a pimple on a curated Instagram feed, that's when Tyler stopped being the safe house and became the detonator. Because this isn't revenge. This is reality catching up. A recalibration. A giant wake-up call for two people who thought they could manipulate everything and everyone. Even the man who gave them a way out. And now, every leak, every clip, every transcript Perry is sitting on, each one could explode the last bits of credibility they had left. That fairy tale escape from the monarchy, it's collapsing like a house of cards. Harry's reaction? Pure panic. He didn't walk to the airport with a Starbucks in hand and a security team in tow. He fled. Late night flight bookings, private jet under a fake name, a flight plan filed just hours before departure. Item: no cameras, no press, just Harry racing back to the UK like he's running from a fire. And honestly, he was, because this is DEFCON 1. Sources say there was no long debate, no carefully crafted strategy, just a crisis meeting after Perry's first leak, and then a flurry of calls to old contacts across the pond. Not to patch things up with Charles or Kate, not even close. This was about one thing only: saving whatever's left of the brand. But let's be real, he's not returning to the UK as a prince, he's returning as a problem, a liability. The guy who set fire to the bridges, he now needs to cross again. And while Harry tries to put out flames across the Atlantic, Meghan, she's still in California, holding on to the last strands of an empire that's unraveling in real time. She's not just watching her reputation crack, she's watching the money vanish, the deals gone, the contracts drying up, the team shrinking, the glamorous life they sold to the world built on shifting sand. Now foreclosure whispers are making the rounds in Montecito. Late payments, constant staff turnover. Insiders are saying what everyone's thinking, but too polite to admit. The Sussex brand is running on fumes. One top Hollywood exec even said it out loud. They're a lesson in how fast a golden image can rust. And Meghan, that's what's scaring her. Not the lost deals, not the canceled shows. It's the silence, the uncertainty, knowing that for once someone else owns the story. Because her entire brand was about control. Control the narrative, control the photos, control the message. Now, for the first time, she's not in the director's chair. There's no script, no PR team cleaning up in the background, just raw footage. And a man she betrayed holding the power. And here's what no one wants to say, but everyone is thinking: Tyler Perry didn't want to be the villain, he was their lifeline. But when you mistake someone's kindness for weakness, when you delete their presence like they were never part of your fairy tale, eventually the fairy godfather stops waving his wand. This isn't a story anymore, it's a reckoning. And Harry's emergency flight back to the UK, it's not a power move, it's a retreat. A retreat from scandal, from exposure, from the collapse of the very fantasy he left everything to chase. And now, with the next leak possibly just days away, the question isn't if their empire will fall, it's how loud the crash will be. Because what Tyler Perry holds now is not just some messy behind-the-scenes gossip. It's a loaded vault of truth, a mirror. And what's reflected back isn't a fairy tale or a couple healing from royal wounds. It's a duo that engineered their own downfall, one calculated step at a time. Those whispered strategy sessions, the candlelit dinners with media consultants, the breakdowns rehearsed like monologues. They're all on tape. They thought they were safe behind Beverly Hills gates, that no one would ever know what really went down. But Tyler knew, and now he holds every frame of that footage, every note, every clipped conversation he's got, and that's terrifying for Meghan and Harry because it's the one thing they can't spin. Insiders say Perry's already been offered jaw-dropping deals. Media outlets, streaming platforms, publishers, they all want in. But Tyler isn't rushing. He's waiting, watching. And Meghan, she's watching too, with her team in full lockdown mode. She's not panicking over money anymore. She's panicking over control, over the image, over the fact that someone else gets to decide what comes next. That for once, it's not her narrative to shape. And the silence? That's the killer. No denials, no statements. Just the quiet knowledge that someone who was once your strongest ally might now be your loudest undoing. That's the kind of fear no press release can fix. Meanwhile, Meghan's inner circle is shrinking. Those elite Hollywood connections? Fading. One by one, they're ghosting. People who once called her visionary now won't return emails. One executive called the Sussex brand reputational quicksand. And behind closed doors, it's chaos. Staff members reportedly working on contingency contracts, NDAs tightened. Emergency calls with lawyers and brand managers. Even household staff are whispering about instability. Turnover's high, morale is low, and the money's not flowing like it used to. The pressure's crushing. Meghan thought her comeback was already written, that her lifestyle show would relaunch her image, that her podcast would rekindle public warmth. But now, everything's on pause. Deals delayed, launches shelved. Nobody wants their name next to a scandal that could explode any minute. And the worst part? It all could have been avoided. Tyler gave them loyalty, gave them sanctuary, protected them when the whole world was turning against them. And what did they do? Deleted him, erased him like he was a phase, like he didn't matter. But Tyler Perry isn't some background character. He's one of the most powerful men in Hollywood. And more importantly, he doesn't forget betrayal. When they cast him aside, they didn't just lose a friend. They woke a sleeping giant. And now, that giant is holding the detonator. Harry's return to the UK isn't some brave homecoming. It's desperation. Quiet meetings with old aides, backroom calls to figures he once alienated, all trying to build a buffer before the next leak drops. Trying to prepare for the fallout he knows is coming. Because Tyler isn't bluffing. And Meghan, she's still in Montecito, locked away, trying to stop the bleeding. But the brand is already hemorrhaging. There's no bounce back campaign, no PR miracle waiting in the wings, not when the public has seen behind the curtain, not when the fairy tale has shattered into pieces. At the end of the day, this isn't about a tape or a lawsuit. It's about what happens when the story you built collapses under its own weight. When your image, your voice, your entire empire is based on being the victim, and someone comes along with proof that you were pulling the strings all along. That's not just scandal, that's exposure. And now, it's just a matter of time. Because Tyler Perry's silence isn't mercy, it's strategy. And when he decides to speak, when those remaining hours of footage come out, it won't be just a reputation destroyed, it'll be everything.